Okay, sir.
Good evening to one and all. Firstly, I wish you 75th Happy Independence Day to all of you. Let this 75th Independence Day brings pomp and heraldry and glory to our nation, great nation. Firstly, I thank the Law and Justice Research Foundation, Trivandrum chapter, and Mandava Science Foundation, Bangalore, for organizing this 75th India's Independence Day celebration under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's Memorial Lecture Series 4. Today, in fact, I have been requested by Mr. Chindu Joseph and his colleagues to speak on the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar to the Indian Constitution. As you know that the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar to the Indian Constitution has been recognized as a vast area where Dr. Ambedkar's contribution cannot be pinpointed in a particular area. The whole Constitution of India, which is drafted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as a chairman of the drafting committee and his other colleagues, is the foundation for certain constitutional values. If you look at the very basis of the Indian Constitution, it reflects the millions and millions of Indians who have fought for the freedom, who have fought for the independence of India, because many Indians, in fact, they have sacrificed their life for securing freedom from the various rulers, especially the British rulers. Though India wanted to have freedom from Britishers, yet at the same time, some sections of the society in India, they also wanted freedom from the exploitation, freedom from injustice, which was being perpetuated within the Indian society. See, therefore, today we have to remember those great people, our freedom fighters, who have really sacrificed their life to bring freedom for us. We are enjoying the freedom from the day of independence, August 15th, 1947, and especially from the day of the Constitution of India came into force, that is 26 January 1950. We have been enjoying full freedom. We have been enjoying all kinds of liberties. But at the same time, we should not forget the sacrifice done by our great freedom fighters. If they had not sacrificed their life for the sake of freedom, today we would not have been possible to enjoy the various rights given under the Constitution of India. See, therefore, since India is known for multicultural society, or we are living in a pluralistic society, we need to regulate certain social evils. Despite the fact that we have got independence, despite the fact that we have got freedom, and despite the fact that we have been liberated from outside rulers, but still millions and millions of people even today across the country in different sections of the society, they are suffering from exploitation. They are confronting with injustice. They are confronting with various social evils. Whether the independence what we have got on 15th August 1947 and subsequently the Constitution came into force, have really reached the vulnerable sections of the society. Discrimination, exploitation, injustice, inequality, casteism, all these existed even before the independence. There are certain sections of the society, they had no voice to speak. They had no place to live. They were discriminated wherever they go. They were deprived of basic education. See, therefore, as a result of the Constitution came into being, and as a result of the spirit of the Constitution, which is reflected in the form of independence and the freedom, has given a recognition for various rights to the Indians. At the same time, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the drafting committee, was given the responsibility to frame the constitution to the pluralistic society. Because our society is not a society which is having only one religion or one language or one culture. It is having innumerable languages, innumerable cultures, innumerable traditions, for which we wanted a perfect constitution in order to protect the interest of all kinds of people belonging to different religions, belonging to different cults, belonging to different ethnic groups. So therefore, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, he recognized Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's contribution, his scholarship, his erudition, and ultimately Dr. Ambedkar in fact got elected as this chairman of the drafting committee. You might be surprised to know Dr. Ambedkar had already by that time studied various other constitutions of the world. For example, he had already studied the Constitution of America, the American civil liberties. He had already studied the Constitution of UK, that is unwritten constitution, the Bill of Rights. He had already studied the Constitution of Australia, Constitution of Canada, Ireland. See, with the experience of all these constitution and also the knowledge of all these constitution, Dr. Ambedkar was able to give the best constitution to the India in order to secure freedom, in order to secure equality, to secure justice, to secure protection, safety to all people, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the community, or irrespective of the caste, or even irrespective of the language, whatever it may be. See, therefore, we are not only glorifying and remembering the Constitution Day, that is 26 November 1950, January 26 January 1950, but also we have to remember August 15th, every year of August 15th. That is the foundation for further development of the Indian society by way of drafting the constitution, by way of forming various types of governments, by way of undertaking various economic programs for the economic prosperity of the nation. See, therefore, for the purpose of removal of all the social evils which exist in the society, the makers of the Indian Constitution, they have deliberately included certain objectives and certain ideals to the Indian Constitution. If we just look into the preamble of the Indian Constitution, that itself says that every citizen of this country should be ensured with social justice. Even before independence, even before we got independence, many sections of the society, they were deprived of justice, social justice. They were not allowed to enter into various public places, including temples, public resorts, or even they were not allowed to take water from the public wells. Likewise, they were deprived of economic justice. See, therefore, that was the situation, that was the society in which people were living with utter poverty. People were living with utter apprehension, and they had no security for their life. Dr. Ambedkar, for the first time, while drafting the Constitution of India, deliberately included the basic fundamental principles, fundamental doctrines, which ensures safety, dignity, and some kind of protection to the certain vulnerable sections of the society in particular, and all sections of the society in general. If you look at the equality provision, every individual should be treated equally. That is the slogan of the Constitution. That is the fundamental principle of the Constitution. And therefore, certain fundamental rights were guaranteed to all the citizens of this country, irrespective of their religion, or irrespective of their economic status, or irrespective of the caste or community or whatever it may be. For example, freedom of speech and expression. Thousands and thousands of people had no voice to raise against the government. They have no voice to question the atrocities. They had no voice to question the exploitation, torture, humiliation, harassment penetrated on these people. For the first time, by insertion of a fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression, every citizen is guaranteed freedom of speech and expression. Today, irrespective of the economic status or irrespective of the religion, whether it is a Muslim or a Hindu or a Sikh or a Jain, or whether he is belong to a particular caste, community, irrespective of that, every citizen of this country is entitled, constitutionally entitled to speak, entitled to express his ideas, express his views. Suppose any exploitation takes place, he can raise his voice, he can fight for rights, he can fight for his human rights. See, that is the essence of the Constitution, which has given the fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. We had a very bitter experience in the Indian society. Some sections of the society, they were not allowed to live in a particular place. They were prevented from living in the midst of the rest of the society. They were called as outcast. They were kept outside the mainstream of the society. And they were not allowed to live with the others. And for the first time, through the constitutional mandate of freedom of residence and settlement, every citizen shall have a fundamental right to reside and settle anywhere throughout the territory of India. No citizen, simply on the ground of caste or culture, simply on the ground of religion or race, shall not be prevented from residing in any place of his choice or settling in any place of his choice. This is how the constitutional mandate of freedom of residence and settlement has been recognized as a fundamental right. Earlier, certain sections of the society, they had no security to live with as a human being. They had no security. They were prevented from organizing themselves. They were threatened by some people not to assemble together, not to associate together, not to raise your voice and all that. And through the Constitution, fundamental right to freedom of assembly and freedom of association, today any citizen of this country can form an association for the purpose of securing justice, for the purpose of securing protection from exploitation or from any kind of harassment. Likewise, before the constitution came into being, another important social evil was people, certain sections of the society, they were not allowed to perform certain profession. For example, some sections of the societies, they are treated only to do certain menial works. They were not allowed to undertake various other professions. For the first time, fundamental right to freedom of profession and freedom of occupation was recognized as a fundamental right under the Constitution of India. See, all these fundamental rights are recognized and guaranteed to citizens for the simple reason that our framers of the Constitution, they had a bitter experience. They had a bitter experience even before the Constitution came into force, how they were treated by the society, how the society in fact was polarized, how the society was discriminated, and as a result of which today fundamental rights have been recognized for every citizen of this country. But the question is, even after the Constitution came into force, we are completing 70 years of the Constitution came into force. Whether all these objectives, the preambular objectives of the Indian Constitution, like equality, because equality based on which the entire Constitution is built, the idea of equality, the idea of liberty, the idea of justice, and the idea of fraternity. These are all the four pillars on which the edifice of the Indian Constitution is built. Why Ambedkar and his colleagues, the members of the drafting committee and its chairman, they wanted to specifically include the equality doctrine. What is the reason? The reason was that thousands and thousands of people in the Indian society, they were not treated equally as a result of caste, as a result of religion, as a result of ethnic group. And therefore, the Constitution of India has abolished this performance of untouchability. Article 17 of the Indian Constitution, in fact, is one of the very powerful weapon, one of the powerful weapons in the hands of the people who are subjected to untouchability. Article 17, in fact, it provides that untouchability is abolished and performance of untouchability in any form is an offense. See, even after 70 years, we are talking about the discrimination, we are talking about inequality, we are talking about exploitation. But with our great freedom fighters, our freedom fighters like Mahatma Gandhi ji, Nehru, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Bhagat Singh, see, all these great freedom fighters, they fought for equality, they fought for freedom, they fought for to secure dignity, human dignity to every individual. If you look at the past, even before the Constitution came into force, what was the status of the Dalits? What was the status of the backward classes? What was the status of the marginalized groups, including women, children, physically handicapped, visually challenged persons? See, therefore, for the first time, the Constitution, in fact, has guaranteed the equality to all. Any discrimination from any individual, any discrimination from any organization, any discrimination from any government will be dealt very seriously under the Constitution. Therefore, Constitution, in fact, has become a very strong mechanism or tool in the hands of the people of India in order to secure justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. Millions and millions of people, in fact, they were not living as human beings because of various existing social evils. For example, for the first time, Constitution of India under Article 21 has ensured right to life. Right to life means right to live with human dignity. If individuals are not able to live as human beings, if individuals are subjected to inequality, subjected to animal treatment, subjected to indignities, then what kind of the freedom we have? What kind of a freedom we have got? See, therefore, when Dr. Ambedkar, when Mahatma Gandhiji, and some other leaders from backward classes, they were invited by the Britishers during the roundtable conferences. The demand was that, firstly, we want independence to India. Let India should be free from the Britishers. That was the first requirement. That was the first demand. The second demand was that after independence, let the marginalized sections of the society, the deprived classes of the people in India should also get freedom. See, that was the objective of the leaders of the minorities who represented in the roundtable conference. As a result of which, we got the constitution. In the constitution, the makers have incorporated all these fundamental rights, and especially fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression, fundamental right to life. Life is assured. Today, no individual's life can be taken away, can be distorted, can be subjected to exploitation without lawful justification. Without lawful justification. Today, no state or no government can damage or destroy the life of an individual. So therefore, today, the Constitution of India has ensured certain very important rights. Earlier, if a person is arrested, he was subjected to cruelty. He was subjected to inhuman treatment by the police. He was subjected to harassment. But after the constitution came into force, even the arrested persons were also, in fact, entitled to have certain rights. For example, if a person is arrested, once he is arrested, he shall be produced before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the caste, or irrespective of the culture, irrespective of the community, whoever may be the person, irrespective of the gender. Once a person is arrested, he shall be produced before the nearest magistrate. This is a constitutional mandate. And he shall be given an opportunity to consult a lawyer, because every individual has to protect his life. Every individual has to protect his life to live with human dignity. And as soon as a person is arrested, he shall be provided the reasons of his arrest. Millions and millions of people in this country, they are not aware of these constitutional requirements or constitutional safeguards given to the citizens of this country whenever they are subjected to detention or subjected to arrest. We have to remember today the effort made by our constitutional makers, our freedom fighters, their long-standing vision for securing justice, securing equality to the whole country, irrespective of the religion or irrespective of the caste, is a great achievement and a great development in the history of India. At the same time, today, if you look at the development of the Indian society, right from 26th January 1950, from the day of Constitution came into force, till today, we have to retrospect ourselves or introspect ourselves whether the preambular objectives of the Indian Constitution, like equality, liberty, justice, fraternity, have been really achieved. have been really achieved, or even the social welfare programs which were provided in the directive principle of the state policy, whether they have been achieved to the extent what our constitutional makers thought of. For example, one of the direct principle of the state policy says, state shall take with special care the interest of the social and educationally and economically backward classes of people. Whether the directive principle of the state policy, the objectives of the directive principle of the state policy have been fructified, have been fulfilled, even after 70 years of constitution came into force. We have our doubts. We have to yet to go a long way. Where exactly the fault lies? Why we have not achieved the objectives of the Indian constitution even after a long gap of time? And why even after a long gap of 75 years of independence, many people even today, they are not living with freedom. They are living with fear and apprehension. Even today, some of the sections of the societies, they have no freedom at all. What kind of freedom we can think of? The women who are living in the rural areas, they are still subjected to exploitation. They are still subjected to humiliation. See, therefore, the real independence we got in the year 1947, August 15th, but more than that independence, we need to have independence to our women, our children, our vulnerable sections of the society, our people belonging to backward classes and marginalized sections of the society. See, as long as the marginalized sections of the societies get complete freedom, get complete economic resources, get complete sharing of the economic resources, only then there is an equality in this country. Today, only few sections of the society, they are becoming richer and richer. And the rest of the society, the poorer sections, they are becoming poorer and poorer. It is because of the uneven distribution of the natural wealth or nation's wealth. And there is one requirement of the directive principle of the state policy, that state must ensure the equal distribution of national wealth. It is not being done. And as a result of which the number of poorer people is increasing. So therefore, the real independence to the people of India, it comes only when all the people of India, they must live with peace and tranquility. They live with equality. They live without apprehension. They live without inequality, injustice, and exploitation. And of course, that was the object of the makers of the Indian Constitution. They said, we want to build an egalitarian type of society, because we are all living in a pluralistic society, but at the same time, we need to establish, or we need to create a egalitarian type of society, a society which is free from all kinds of exploitation, which is free from all kinds of discriminations. But we yet to achieve this kind of society, egalitarian type of society. And of course, let us all join together in one spirit to fight against all kinds of social evils. Let us all join together for building our nation with integrity, with integrity and with nationalism, the spirit of nationalism, the spirit of oneness, the spirit of brotherhood should be promoted by all, irrespective of the status of the economic status, irrespective of the religion, or irrespective of the community. See, only then we can think of that our India has achieved economic development, achieved social development, and achieved cultural development. For let us all strive to work towards for the development of our country, because in the past in the past 7 years, in the past 10 years, in the past 10 years, we have been witnessing that lot of changes are taking place in India. So many changes are taking place in India. Large number of economic and welfare programs are being launched in order to address the poorer sections of the society. And therefore, unless and until all the directive principle of the state policies are implemented by the government, whatever may be the government, until all these are implemented, till such time we cannot achieve a real India. We cannot achieve the dream of Mahatma Gandhi ji, the dream of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, or the dream of our Subhash Chandra Bose in building one country, one nation, and also there must be integrity, honesty, and commitment from all citizens of this country. Then only our celebration of Independence Day every year on August 15th will be having a real meaning, and really all the people who are involved in these celebrations, in fact, they have to dedicate themselves for the cause of the development of this society. And I always say that we need a society, we need a knowledgeable society, and we need to create a knowledge society in which there shall not be any discrimination, polarization, exploitation, injustice, inequality. We need a society with non-discrimination. We need a society where there is an element of egalitarian element. And I hope that this August 15th Independence Day celebration, it gives a message to the society that since we are all Indians, right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we are all Indians. We are all, in fact, one and the same. And this the voice of oneness must be heralded to the entire nation at this juncture, in order to see that the constitutional mandates of equality, justice, liberty, and fraternity should be ensured to all in their life, and make everybody's life a meaningful and a dignified life. I wish you once again, the 75th Independence Day wishes to all of you who are participating in this celebration program. Thank you so much.
Thank you